Benalmádena is one of those locations that often buyers dismiss far too quickly. The reason is they assume it's just a tourist spot, but in reality, it's a location that is far more nuanced than that. In today's episode, we're going to unpack why dismissing Benalmádena too quickly for the right buyer could be a real mistake. So Warner, are you ready?
I'm ready. Got a bit of colour on today.
We're actually coordinated.
We're matching.
I don't think that wasn't intentional, but I like it.
Sixth sense.
Okay, so we're going to unpack some assumptions today around why people can disregard Benalmádena too quickly, or often when we mention it as a location that might actually be suitable for them, they kind of squirm and go, I was there 10 years on a hen do. It's, a little bit too pub vibe for me, maybe just too much of that tourist hotspot. And sometimes that's the reaction that we get actually when we go, look, for your requirements, have you thought about Benalmádena?
Last week, I was speaking to a client on the phone and she was speaking about Torremuelle, remember the package holidays in the 70s, and it's still got that zone, but in reality, the last 5 years, it's totally changed.
Yeah.
Totally changed. There's loads of families coming to this area. The vicinity of Benalmádena, there's 5 international schools that they can choose from. Not only that, you're on the train line, so you're very close to Málaga and anywhere else. And then you got the beautiful Pueblo, that old town feel. So if somebody's coming from a country, like I had clients yesterday from Vienna, and they were like, yes, in Vienna it's so quiet and everything else. And so if they're looking for that and then they're looking for the properties close to the sea, they're not going to get that like for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Last week we had a property consultation call with a couple from London, and they have 2 young kids. And the husband in the relationship had been listening to our podcast for a long period of time. And his wife loves Spain, but she really felt that she identified more with traditional Spain. And when the Costas were mentioned to her, and potentially Benalmádena, because he'd been following along to our podcast and liked what we said about Benalmádena from a practicality point of view for schools, accessibility to the airport, access to hospitals and healthcare, he felt that it was a really sensible option for them. But her initial reaction was negative. She turned her nose up and it wasn't for her. But as we really started to dive into the discussion and talked about the fact that Benalmádena has different parts, like every city, like every large town, there's different parts. Yes, there is the tourist hotspots. Yes, there is the marina. But the reality is, if you're going to be relocating here or spending half of your time here each year, you're not going to regularly frequent in those hotspots because your life will follow a very normal routine that you're going to build over here. So it's important to understand that Benalmádena as a location offers different parts that will be suitable for different people depending on their lifestyle. So it's very important that we stop judging it based on one slice or one experience that you might have had many, many years ago, because in reality, it's far more nuanced and different to that. Isn't that correct, Warner?
Yeah, stop judging it and just try it and try for yourself, hire the car, go around the different areas. I got brilliant feedback from a client from New York yesterday saying that he loved the Benalmádena guide video that we'd done on YouTube. So look at that video, look at the areas and hire a car and just go around and see for yourself how much it has to offer.
Totally agree. And I think of the different buyer profiles that we work with. So yes, we work with people that are relocating permanently. Yes, we work with people that want to retire here. Yes, we work with people who want to eventually retire here. And we work with people that only want to purchase a holiday home here, but still want to base themselves in their home country. And I can honestly guarantee you, of all of those 4 different profiles, there is a match in Benalmádena. So if you are somebody who's intending, for example, to retire over here, what's going to be important for you? You're going to want to be close to hospitals, healthcare. You're going to want accessibility so that you're close to the train station. You're going to want to be in a busy environment where you can build community and mix with people. And likely, you're not going to be fluent in Spanish, but you're going to want to be in an environment where it's international and you have the ability to speak English if you want to. Benalmádena offers all that. And also, on the other hand, if you're coming with families or you're relocating here permanently, again, it's going to be schools, healthcare, accessibility, clubs and activities for your families, access to the beach, access to the parks. And the reality is, in most locations in Benalmádena, you're a short drive away from all that, or you can even walk. So it's got it all.
It does have it all when, until you're actually here with your family or any people that come to us and they say, look, we want to buy in the Costa del Sol. I say, well, what's the dream? And then we step back to find out what the dream is, and then we piece it together how that could become reality for them.
Like the first question I ask on our property consultation calls is like, describe to me what your future life in the Costa del Sol looks like. And I'll ask them to get very detailed with me in terms of visualizing what that life looks like. And often we can unpack a lot of information in that. So, for example, I'm going to tap into one of last week's calls. They want to come with their kids. They want their kids to go into international school because they're a little bit, in their opinion, they're a little bit too old now to integrate into Spanish life. They want to be able to walk to hobbies and amenities. They want to be able to walk to the beach. Okay, so yes, Benalmádena would be a great option for that. But there's going to be certain neighbourhoods in Benalmádena that are going to be an even better match to that. So by us taking the time to really walk through what's important for them, using our ultimate checklist, tapping into what their future life looks like, we can go, okay, that's perfect. Well, this neighbourhood is not going to be an option for you. This neighbourhood, but this is. And we really work backwards from that when we really understand what their future life looks like and what their priorities are.
And it's really important to point out, like urbanizations like Torremuelle, where it's surrounded by amazing villas, and the international schools are walking distance to those villas.
And the train station.
And the train station as well. And then you have a place called La Capanilla, which we've highlighted in the past, where you have villas up to 10 million euros. So, to think Benalmádena, it's that Brits culture, drinking. No. It's totally changed. And, whether you're looking for that 250,000 apartment to that 10 million villa, you can find it in this area.
And I think it's important to tap into, for a moment, what's been happening in the Middle East. That is changing in the last number of weeks, the demand here on the Costa del Sol. Typically, people that are basing themselves potentially in the Dubai market, they have an interest in Marbella. But, there's only so much supply and demand to go around. Now, what we're seeing in the last 2 weeks, especially over the Easter break, villas that are price pointed maybe about 800,000 up to 1.2, 1.4 in Benalmádena, the viewing demand for those villas over the last number of weeks has soared, hasn't it really, Warner? And I think that that's a spill. It's a knock-on effect due to the fact that people potentially had plans to be in Dubai or are in Dubai and are starting to really question or reevaluate their next steps as a result of what's happening in the world at the moment. So that's going to be an exciting space to watch in the next number of months. And I think Benalmádena, due to its accessibility to the airport, also the fact that it does have luxury postcodes, as Warner mentioned there, is an exciting place to watch.
Yeah, and with the airport expansion and taking in all these different countries like the UAE, different parts of America, it's going to be the hot spot for the next 5-10 years. But one thing I understand in Dubai, the glitz and glamour of Dubai, the skyscrapers and everything else, but at the end of the day, it's all about security and feeling comfortable that your kids can go to school, or you're feeling comfortable, that you're in a good country, with good culture and security.
Yeah, good point there. So you mentioned the glitz and the glamour and, do you think people get a little bit of postcode prejudice? Do they get too infatuated with the name of the location rather than what that postcode could potentially offer them?
Yeah, I think so. I was watching the news the other night and they were saying about the glitz and glamour of Dubai, where the next venture they're going to. When Dubai gets too hot in the summer, they all come to Marbella. But it's good to note that there's different areas than Marbella, and Marbella is only a small part of that. We're looking at, Benalmádena, Fuengirola, Torremuelle also can bring that luxury as well.
Yeah, like the reality is the coastline is small. You're talking 160 kilometers from end to end.
Yeah.
So if you are living in Benalmádena and you want the lifestyle that Marbella has to offer, you're 30 minutes away. And like that goes for us too. We don't always socialize in Benalmádena. We like to go for dinner in Fuengirola because there's a lot of great places to eat. There's a really nice vibe there. We like to go into Málaga Centro for days out. So just because you live there,
or go holiday in the Marriott in Marbella. There's no flights, no nothing. Just get in the car, 30 minutes down the road.
We love the Marriott in Marbella. We actually go on our holidays there twice a year. We're so boring and predictable, but it's a great resort. You cannot take that away from it. We love it as a family. It offers everything. But the point is, if you live in Benalmádena, it doesn't mean that you cannot access Marbella if you want a glitzy type of lifestyle.
Exactly. You'll soon come running back.
When you see the prices.
Here's 15 euros for a water.
That's so true. So Benalmádena, we've really jumped into. Benalmádena is a very sensible option for buyers who want practical accessibility. Our clients, Gobind and Rima, they're from America. You worked with them a couple of years ago. Benalmádena wasn't really on their radar. You introduced them to it. They bought a base here and now they love it because they don't have to hire a car. They get to the airport, they can get the train. They feel really centrally located to everything and they're complete converts. They were here on holidays 3 weeks ago and they popped into the office. They're shopping around for another investment to try and change their mind for other locations. It's tricky because they feel very spoiled here in Benalmádena.
Yeah, that's very true. And they were early listeners of the podcast maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, the podcast is 2 years old. So.
Oh, it feels longer. Yeah, so they listened to the early episodes of the podcast. They contacted us. We've done a discovery call and they've done exactly what we said. Hire a car, go to Estepona, go to Málaga, come to Benalmádena, and eventually they've done 2 weeks. They went back home and then they contacted me and they said, yeah, we want to get our foot on the ladder and we want to buy in Benalmádena. And it was quite easy because they'd already been there. I gave them where to buy, what's good to buy, and they were very happy.
They bought a great property.
And
made a very, very good investment. And now they're in a position where they're looking for their next property here. But as I said, they feel very spoiled in Benalmádena. They see the benefit of being on the train line. They see the benefit of being able to walk to the beach.
Yeah.
They see the benefit of the different areas in Benalmádena. So you can go to Benalmádena Pueblo if you want a bit of culture and watch coffee and people watch, whitewashed buildings.
Yeah.
Very typical Andalusian style area. You go to Arroyo de la Miel for your restaurant and evening culture, your small town. And then, yes, you go to the coast if you want to be on the beach or you want to, have your sunny beach days. So it offers everything. It's a great location. So really, Warner, my question now, who is Benalmádena actually suitable for?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody from young nomads to retiring people to people who's relocating, to people who want luxury, it suits everybody. I challenge somebody to say that it's not for you or one part of Benalmádena that isn't for me.
That you can't find one neighbourhood or location in Benalmádena that doesn't wow you over.
Exactly.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. And the infrastructure's fantastic. You've got the bus that goes straight down to Málaga from the coast, and then you've got the train line that goes straight to Málaga. So you have the infrastructure there and you can walk everywhere,
And it's super safe. Our son is at an age now where he's becoming a lot more independent. He wants a lot more autonomy. he plays football, and he wants to have the independence on a Saturday of being able to walk to the club, to his football match and say, hey, Dad, Mum, pick me up or whatever. But, you know, at the start as a parent, you know, that's something that you find tricky because you don't want to let go of them. But for me in Benalmádena, it's not because it's not safe or I don't feel secure with him walking around. It's because I'm not ready for that step yet. But my point is, for families, for kids, it's so safe. I feel so secure here, and I feel very secure raising my family here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so if there's one final message, Warner, that you want to share with our listeners about Benalmádena, what would that be?
If you've been going different areas in the Costa del Sol and you think, you know, no, that's not for me, then next holiday, book Benalmádena and just try it.
Yeah, do.
Yeah.
Come see it, have a look around, pop into the office, say hi to us, have a coffee. As Warner said, we challenge you to find one area in Benalmádena that you don't fall in love with. So if you're up for the challenge, I'd love to hear you take us up on it. We've recently just developed a location quiz to support you to find your perfect location on the Costa del Sol. We see too many of our buyers fall down the location rabbit hole. They don't know which location is right for them. So we have decided to take the stress and the hassle out of this for you. So just take our location quiz. It literally takes 30 seconds and it will send you a custom-made location report directly to your inbox. Those of you who have already taken the quiz so far are in love with it. We've had amazing feedback. So I would encourage you to take the quiz too. All of the details will be in the show notes of this episode. So I hope you've enjoyed today's discussion. I've really enjoyed being colour coordinated with you, Mr. Laurie. Stop looking at yourself in the camera. You're being very vain. Do you know what he said? He said, I really love this colour on me.
No, you can tell that the spring is in the air and the sun is starting to get hotter, so it's great. And business is starting to really boom. So,
and you can tell you've been spending some sneaky hours on the beach.
Yeah. Well, the doctor told me I need more vitamin D, so that's my excuse.
Yeah, well, let's see. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next episode. Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.